What sort of person must the people of the future be to ensure that Auschwitz is never repeated?
First of all, I would like to highlight an important idea for me. Talking about Auschwitz and all the crimes from past century, we need to think not only about German society. Yes, of course, most of crimes done by people in past century were done by German society and the Third Reich, but it is not the whole picture. Hitler was born in a specific society, and this society existed within the specific political and geopolitical environment. Therefore, we need to think more globally answering this question and see the responsibility of those crimes on whole society that time. So I don't want to focus on government, on political aspect. I would like to talk about individual level, because all crimes were done by individuals and based on their own choices. Answering the question how to avoid making the same mistakes as people done in past century, I would like to talk about individual thinking and consciousness, and I think it is very needed in all times. It doesn't matter there is war or no war, it is a crisis or not crisis, in all times it is a very needed skill. And thinking about people who lived in those times when Auschwitz happened or Auschwitz created, most of them were infected with the propaganda. And propaganda, it is the way how politics and government spread the information. And main idea it is to interpret facts in very convenient way for this specific political idea. People who don't know how to interpret facts and create personal opinions on this, on what is happening or what has happened, yes, they will be and they were infected by propaganda. For instance, government said that German society must blame Jewish people, yes, but I think not many of them asked why. Yes, why we need to blame them? Are they really that bad? And maybe many of them had some questions or had some different opinions, but not many of them had courage to act differently. Yes, to act different from most of society. To sum up, I think that ability and courage to think independently and consciously perceive the propaganda and what government and politicians spread, their ideas, their speeches, it is what is needed for people of future.
In my opinion, the person of the future should be observant. They must think independently and decide for themselves what is wrong and what is right. They must understand what is happening around them, why it is happening, and what consequences it may bring. They should care about people around them and never ignore injustice. If someone treated unfairly, even if it doesn't directly affect them, they should speak up.
The person of the future must let go the idea that they are merely a little person, powerless and insignificant. Instead, they must take a responsibility of their own life and the consequences of their choices. Above all, they must learn how to meet every human being with respect, compassion and love, and also They must to learn how to see in every person a compassion and dignity with which they were born.
In my opinion, the person of the future, above all, must remain human. A living human being with a vulnerable heart, capable of seeing human being in the person next to them. When we were in Auschwitz, I realized that stories about millions of victims have never affected me as much as a little girl's shoe or a braid of the woman in tons of hair. It shifted my perception. Beyond numbers, I saw a person, not a victims, but a girl who just loved being. It showed me how tragic it is that we are a generation that thinks in thousands and millions, yet not able to see the individual. I saw how a person in the humanized eyes becomes material, and how we, ourselves, often reduce both ourselves and others to functions and skills. The world is changing so fast that we started to be indifferent to both beauty and death. And indifference, as I saw in Auschwitz, is the oxygen that feeds the fire of evil. That is why I want to believe that the person of the future will not have the artificial and unbreakable heart, but the sensitive and delicate one.